Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never practice nunchucks in a crowded room. Never eat chole before a road trip. Always take your shirt off before you iron it. Don't take a call near a swimming pool. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Before I start this episode of Politically Correct, I have to make an appeal to you. You probably already know what I am going to say, but I must repeat it because it's about the survival of independent journalism. Only you can sustain it. If you want us to gather facts from ground zero and not leave it to spin doctors of different parties, if you want us to write and tell the truth without bothering about who may or may not like it, you must pay for it. Please subscribe to ThePrint. You can subscribe by following the process given on the screen or click the link given in the description. Let me now come to the subject of our discussion in this episode of Politically Correct. Why does the BJP or let's say PM Modi and Amit Shah change sitting MPs and MLAs in every election? About 25 to 30% of them. It's apparently a strategy to beat anti-incumbency against individual candidates. Does it really work? Let's find out. On Saturday, the BJP released a list of 195 candidates for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Two candidates have pulled out since then, Upendra Singh Rawat from Barabanki and Pawan Singh from Asansol. You already know the reasons and so I won't talk about it. Let me talk about another candidate who did not figure on the list of candidates. Union Minister Pratima Bhaumik, who is the sitting MP from Tripura West. In July 2021, she had become the first ever permanent resident of Tripura to join the Union Council of Ministers, thanks to Prime Minister Modi. When the BJP fielded her in the assembly election in February 2023, it was seen as an indirect projection of her as a chief ministerial contender. After all, Manik Shah, who had replaced Biplav Dev as the chief minister barely a year before the election, lacked the mass appeal of his predecessor. Pratima Bhaumik won the assembly poll from Dhanpur, a left bastion for 5 decades. The BJP secured a wafer-thin majority with 32 seats in the 60-member assembly. The High Command chose to retain Manik Shah as the CM and got Pratima Bhaumik to resign her assembly seat. Prime Minister Modi obviously thought she would be more useful at the centre. On Saturday, the BJP denied her the party ticket to contest the 2024 Lok Sabha election and replaced her with Biplav Dev in the West Tripura constituency. Come to think of it, Biplav Dev, who had steered the BJP to its historic win in Tripura, was replaced by Saha, who had spent just 3 months in the Raj Sabha. Dev was brought to the Raj Sabha in his place. Now Biplav Dev has replaced Pratima Bhaumik as the party's Lok Sabha candidate in West Tripura. No one knows why Dev had been suddenly removed as the CM, but it couldn't be that he was losing popularity. Because if that was the case, the BJP would not be fielding him in the Lok Sabha election. Pratima Bhaumik must also be puzzled as to why she is being tossed around. She was first made a union minister, then fielded in the assembly election as a potential CM candidate, then made to resign her assembly seat and now denied the Lok Sabha ticket. But that's just one piece of the many puzzles that the BJP's first list of 195 Lok Sabha candidates has. The Modi-led government has been tom-tomming its successful handling of COVID-19. One would therefore expect former Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, who had held a portfolio during most of the pandemic, to be felicitated and promoted. In July 2021, PM Modi dropped him from the Union Cabinet instead. On Saturday, the BJP denied him party ticket from his Chandni Chowk constituency. On Sunday, he quit politics, posting on X that he had won all 5 assembly and 2 parliamentary elections that he fought with exemplary margins. Ahead of the release of the list, 2 sitting MPs of the BJP, Gautam Gambhir and Jayant Sinha, they also called it quits, saying that they wanted to focus on cricket commitments and global climate change respectively. In BJP's first list of 195 candidates, there are around 3 dozen fresh faces. In 2019, it had dropped all its 10 sitting MPs in Chhattisgarh. It won 9 seats. Out of these 9 MPs, only 2 have been repeated this time. The party had changed candidates on 5 out of 15 Gujarat seats declared so far. It's 4 out of 5 in Delhi and 7 out of 15 in Rajasthan. Many more sitting MPs are likely to be dropped in the subsequent lists of BJP candidates. Even in states where the BJP has been making a clean sweep, or almost so, in the past 2 Lok Sabha elections, Gujarat, Delhi, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Uttarakhand, among many others, Modi-Shah have not hesitated to change candidates, reportedly on the basis of internal surveys. In assembly elections, they have gone to the extent of replacing the entire cabinet, like in Gujarat, or at least the chief minister, like in Uttarakhand or Tripura. Dropping MPs and MLAs to beat anti-incumbency has been Modi's strategy since his chief ministerial days. Or so we have come to believe. But does it really work? Is there anti-incumbency at the candidate level? No, say Prannoy Roy and Dorab Sapariwala in their book, The Verdict, Decoding India's Elections. They analyzed all state assembly elections held between 2008 and 2018, which involved checking and matching about 35,000 individual candidates' names to understand whether MLAs face anti-incumbency. Their first conclusion was that political parties appear to prefer renominating existing MLAs. Almost 66% of them. These parties replace 34% of the MLAs. Usually, given the period we are talking about. The interesting finding of their research was that the renominated MLAs have a better strike rate of 50% as compared to 37% of fresh faces in seats won by respective parties in the previous election. Prannoy Roy and Sapariwala write, and I quote, "The bottom line is, election data over the last 11 years suggests that there is no clear anti-incumbency at the level of the individual MLA. In fact, it's more likely, if anything, that there is now a slight pro-incumbency advantage for sitting MLAs. Consequently, for candidates of equal quality, it is slightly smarter for political parties to renominate existing MLAs instead of lining up new candidates," unquote. Mind the phrase, candidates of equal quality here. They have not taken into consideration the possibility of parties renominating better individuals after getting rid of underperforming sitting MLAs. One can assume safely here that parties, while dropping sitting MLAs, go for better candidates based on feedback from the ground. That should make the 37% strike rate of new faces much less appealing. Prannoy Roy and Sapariwala talk about 3 turning points of Indian elections based on their analysis of the results of 235 assembly elections in big and medium-sized states. The first, the pro-incumbency era from 1952 to 1977. Second, the anti-incumbency era from 1977 to 2002. And the third, what they call 50-50 era from 2002 to 2019. In the pro-incumbency era, there was what they call the optimistic voter who voted 82% of the governments back to power. From 77 to 2002, there was what they call the angry voter who voted 71% of the government out of power. Then there was the wiser voter from 2002 to 2019 who voted 48% of the governments back to power and 52% of them out of power. That's why they call 50-50. Just to clarify, when I talked about their conclusion about the 50% strike rate of sitting MLAs and 37% of new candidates, it came from the data from the 50-50 era. I took a random sample of the BJP's second list of 23 candidates in the 2023 Karnataka Assembly election. The BJP denied tickets to sitting MLAs in 7 constituencies. Channagiri, Mudigere, Kalaghatgi, Davangere North, Haveri, Mayakonda and Bandur. Sitting MLAs were changed in these 7 seats. Out of these 7, the BJP could win only in Bandur. So you replace candidates in 7 seats, you manage to win just 1. That was just a random sample. I'm sure we need to do much deeper research to get to a conclusion. Anyway, in the case of parliamentarians, it's difficult to test the validity of this anti-incumbency strategy, especially in an era of personality cult and polarizing narratives where the performance of an individual MP has taken a backseat. As BJP leaders tell us, field a robot as the BJP candidate and it will win because the people vote for PM Modi and the party's ideology, not for candidates. So why do Modi and Shah take so much trouble to conduct internal surveys and replace sitting MPs and MLAs to beat anti-incumbency if the incumbents have a better strike rate, that is 50%, as against 37% for fresh faces? We are talking in the context of assembly elections. That's probably where Modi and Shah get the better of psephologists and analysts one election after another. For one, as we know, Modi-Shah go by chemistry and not arithmetic. And nobody understands this chemistry better than Modi and Shah, as is evident from the record of electoral victories. Second, it's not always about winning. It's also about giving opportunities to fresh faces. For instance, when they saw potential in late Sushma Swaraj's daughter, Masuri, they went ahead and fielded her in the New Delhi constituency, replacing sitting MP Meenakshi Lekhi. The BJP won all 7 Lok Sabha seats in Delhi in the last 2 Lok Sabha elections, securing over 50% vote share in all 7 seats in 2019. So the party is not necessarily bothered about Meenakshi Lekhi's popularity. It's more about giving an opportunity to a bright young leader. Of course, Lekhi herself did not help her own cause by embarrassing the Modi government by disowning a parliament reply last December. Do you remember that? If one looks at the BJP's list closely, there are hints of larger objectives. It's sending a signal to motor mouths, headline hunters, zealots, some Godse lovers, and probably those with suspect loyalty to the high command, among others. But of course, these are not reasons that can be cited publicly. Winnability as the criterion comes in handy. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.